All right, what is going on, guys? Due to some technical difficulties there, I started the show up a couple minutes late, but you're still live here in the Sit Down with the Sauce Guy, presented by www.buffalosauceguy.com and presented by Duff's Famous Wings. This is your sports entertainment show and also your Bills Mafia coverage. If you're just now tuning in, do me a favor. You hit that like and share, hit the comments as well. And if you're watching on the Roku app, join me over on either Facebook or YouTube, or feel free to call into the hotline as well. Guys, we got a great show today, obviously, with everything that transpired yesterday for the Buffalo Bills against the Jets, and the way that the offense was able to click and the way that the Bills were able to get a win at home against a divisional opponent that they've already lost to was huge. There was a lot of action around the NFL, obviously, and we're going to cover all that as well. You're live here with the Sauce Guide. Check me out across all social media platforms at Buffalo Sauce Guide and on Facebook at Anthony Bomasudo. And again, guys, welcome into the Sit Down. This is your sports entertainment show. Hit that like, share, and also, guys, like I said, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, and we're live on the Roku app for the Northeast Streaming Sports Network, and you can check that out on your Roku TV if you want to watch Sauce God live. I'm also live Mondays, Thursdays, and on Saturdays now as well, but Mondays and Thursdays 11 and Saturdays at noon. So let's get this rolling, ladies and gentlemen. Get those comments flowing. Feel free to call into the hotline at 716-800-1772. Again, that's 716-800-1772. We're going to break down everything that went right for the Buffalo Bills, everything that went wrong, what they've got looking ahead with the remainder of the schedule being the toughest that it is in the NFL, and also everything else that needs to be talked about for the Buffalo Bills after their 32-6 victory at home against the Jets. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Sit Down. Let's go ahead. Let's play that introduction video, and let's get it going.
Let's get this over with. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's simple, baby. Buffalo Bills football is heck, all right? And we tell you something.
I'm gonna crack a cold one since it's a tailgate.
Ooh, ice cold, Mike. Let me tell you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are live here in the Sit Down with Sauce God, a sports and entertainment show.
I'm whipping the sauce, I'm tripping, of course, I want it all. All of my dogs be running with guard. Your mama, you're holding your pennies and bra. Cause when I get whipping the sauce, you taking it off. I'm dancing on tracks like stuff in the yard. We keeping it quiet, we moving the signs. But now we starting to riot, yeah. Keeping my eye on the prize. I got me a queen, we riding like Bonnie and Clyde. Trips to Dubai, the way I be blessing. I'm destined for changing my decimals. Decibels hitting the wave, I'm rapping incredible. Splitting their head like a cantaloupe edible. Got me so high, I'm touching the sky. Of course, I give it my all. I'm whipping the sauce, kicking the door. But then we been here before. She ain't involved, well, she ain't involved. Taking my shot, even if down, we tying the score. Do your dancing, now twist, don't stress, don't trip. Whipping sauce real quick, stay dripping. Sipping on cognac, roll tea in my veins, but you find that I'm whipping it, watch it get saucy.
How you doing it?
I'm twisting and mixing and shaking them haters right off me.
What you doing?
All right, guys, welcome into the Sit Down, a sports entertainment show with your host, the Sauce Guy, right here on Facebook and on YouTube Live as well, and on the Roku app for the Northeast Streaming Sports Network. And real fast, guys, why don't we go ahead and take a moment to play a little video for that Northeast Streaming Sports Network that you can check out on your Roku TV app and check out my shows as well as some of the other great content that they got as well from the network.
This is Northeast Streaming Sports.
And this episode of the Sit Down is presented by www.buffalosauceguide.com and presented by Duff's Famous Wings, the best damn chicken wings that there is. Check out www.buffalosauceguide.com for some great merchandise as well as some great tailgating options and as well as all the daily entertainment content coming from myself, the Sauce God. Not just Bill stuff, guys. Stuff to make you laugh, stuff to get you inspired, whatever it may be. Sauce God is your source for daily entertainment. Like I said, guys, we're live Mondays, Thursdays, and also live on Saturdays now at noon with the Sauce God and Shimmy Sports Show. So keep those comments flowing, ladies and gentlemen. We're live here. We're going to talk about the Buffalo Bills victory over the Jets as well. But I want to give a quick shout out to my producer backstage, Mr. 12 Gauge, man in the helm on the board. And also want to shout out to my lovely, beautiful girlfriend, the most beautiful woman in the world. Emily, I love you very much. Thank you for always getting me fired up with that wonderful voiceover to start the show off. So let's get it going, ladies and gentlemen. We're over here for Season 1, Episode 7 of the Sit Down here, officially on my page, as well as on the Roku app for the Northeast Streaming Sports Network. We're going to talk about the Bills-Jets. We're going to talk about NFL Week 11 action, as well as the Monday night game, which is going to be a really interesting game. I mean, hey, whether or not you're rooting for the Chiefs or Eagles, it doesn't matter. This is a Super Bowl rematch. This is two of the considerably best teams in football, right? So we're going to talk about that as well. I'm going to give you guys some betting picks. So I got all my great segments. You bada bing, forget about it. Your victory formation, pain trains, all of that, and what everything needs to be said about the Buffalo Bills going forward. So hit that like and share, ladies and gentlemen, and let's get to it, baby. Let's get into the action. We're going to talk about the NFL Week 11 scores thus far. I'll tell you what, man, some of the games yesterday, it shows you again, and I say it week after week, I know, but how weird the NFL truly is. It can just change in a matter of a couple of seconds. So we know how the Thursday night game went. The Ravens took on the Bengals and won 34-20 in a game that Joe Burrow left with an injury that is going to end his season. The Jets beat the Bills 32-6 at home, 425. We all know that. The Browns over the Steelers, 13-10 with their backup quarterback. That's an interesting one, too, because that actually covered the spread on Cleveland's behalf. We talked about that in the most recent episode, too, why it was kind of an interesting spread, being that the Steelers were to be having their starting quarterback versus the Browns weren't. The Browns, however, did sign a quarterback, and I'm going to talk about that as well after I get through these scores. The Texans took on the Cardinals in Kyler Murray's second game back, and that was a 21-16 victory. But C.J. Stroud with his worst performance really as a rookie with 3 interceptions yesterday, and he had 2 coming into the game. The Titans and Jaguars, the battle of the AFC South teams, man, that was an interesting one as well. Jaguars got it wrong 34-14. The Dolphins barely got by with the Raiders game and beat them 20-13. Cowboys demolished the Panthers 33-10. The Lions came back in an interesting, very, very interesting game because I'm telling you, the Bears just always be doing Bear stuff, right? But the NFC North, man, is competitive like that. But the Lions end up coming back and winning 31-26. The Packers over the Chargers 23-20. The Giants in interesting matchup against their NFC East opponent, the Commanders, which Commanders were just turnover machines yesterday. 31-19 victory for the Giants. 49ers prevailed over the Buccaneers after their 3-game skid, 27-14. The Rams snuck by their divisional opponent, the Seahawks, 17-16. Geno Smith left that game with injury, too. I'm not sure what his status is. But the Broncos finished the Sunday night game 21-20 in a thrilling one that actually really pissed me off because the second half under did not hit. So, man, we had some great action. I think the ones that stand out to me the most, obviously, are – the Texans are still winning games. They're showing people they're for real. C.J. Stroud is obviously one of the best quarterbacks in football right now with the way that he's playing. And they're going to make a lot of noise. That AFC South is wide open. The Colts are still competing even with Gardner Minshew, man in the helm. Yeah, obviously you got Trevor Lawrence, man in the helm for man in the helm. That's going to be my saying today. For the Jaguars, and I mean, hey, that's the team I think most people were predicting to take the AFC South. But, hey, it's wide open. And that's why football is just such a wonderful sport. The Dolphins, man, 20-13. Chan left that game with an injury, and I'm not sure if he's done for the year or not, but Jalen Ramsey actually had the game-sealing interception, so making a big play in his first year as a Dolphin. But Tua had a decent game. He had a pick. Tyreek Hill obviously doing Tyreek Hill things, 10 catches for 146 and a tutty. So the Dolphins still got a victory yesterday, but the Bills are really one game behind them. And the Bills are now 2-2 in their division, and they have one up on Miami and still want to play against Miami. So really, if you think about it, the Bills are kind of sitting in a decent position, but you have a tough remaining schedule. We're going to talk about that as well. Much more ahead here in the sit-down live here on my Facebook, YouTube, and on the Roku streaming app for the Northeast Streaming Sports app. This is presented by www.buffalosauceguy.com and presented by Duff's Famous Wings. And, of course, hosted by me, the Sauce God, and on social medias at Buffalo Sauce God. So we're going to talk now about the actually, let me go to this storyline real fast I wanted to bring up. The Cleveland Browns obviously are competing. They're winning games somehow. Their defense is really playing lights out. Even with their backup quarterbacks and even with their starting quarterbacks playing, it doesn't seem like they were winning. But regardless, the Cleveland Browns signed veteran Joe Flacco, who was seen on his way to Cleveland, I think last week it was, and he actually just signed effectively to the practice squad. So Cleveland's still trying to bolster up and maybe save their season with a veteran quarterback. Interesting choice, Joe Flacco versus Matt Ryan is probably still available. I don't know how much Joe Flacco really has left in the tank. I think really we saw the best out of Joe Flacco in 1 year. Is he really going to command the team well enough to win a Super Bowl? I don't think so. And I know I got a lot of Cleveland Browns fans that are my friends. So if you guys have any beef with that, just go ahead and feel free to bring it up. But guys, if you have any comments, feel free to bring them up as well. And feel free to call into the hotline at 716-800-1772. Again, See that below on the ticker, 716-800-1772. You can call in and discuss everything about the NFL, as well as the Buffalo Bills victory over the Jets. We got a little comment coming in from producer Linda McGrath saying, good morning from the Northeast Streaming Sports Productions Roku channel. That's a lot. It's a mouthful. Let's not get excited. You beat the Jets and Diggs didn't get his catches. It doesn't matter. Diggs didn't need to get his catches. So I'm glad that you said that, because I'm going to talk about that and much more live here in my upcoming segments. Dolphins still have not beat any team over 500, says John Robert. And hey, that's exactly. But Dolphins fans will sit there and trash us because we lost to the Broncos, even though we beat the Dolphins. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you guys are just so fucking backwards. Another comment from Joey Engelbert, longtime supporter. Man, go Bills as always. Let's go Buffalo, he said. Mr. 12 Gauge also taking the time to come on in and comment saying, surprised Kyler Murray wasn't all up in Modern Warfare 3. I think he's probably still playing MW2, Gauge, to be honest. And also, let's also highlight this. This is why we're feeling great today. This is why the show has got the best of vibes, because it's Victory Monday. It's a heck of a lot more easy and more entertaining for me to discuss when the Bills have a victory, right? So let's keep it rolling, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking around the NFL, the news and headlines around the NFL in Week 11, as well as the scores and some of the action that transpired. We're going to get to the Bills and Jets here, as well as ahead as well with the Chiefs and the Eagles. So here we go. Let's keep it rolling. The Bills defeated the Jets 32-6, improving to 6-5 on the season and 2-2 in the AFC East. Now this is huge. You lost Week 1 to the Jets, right? Okay, now you come back. Now you got one back. So really, if you could just finish undefeated in the division, that right there could set you up possibly in this position for the divisional title again. Because I'm not the kind of guy that wants to think about a wild card opportunity. I just don't look at it that way. I think the Bills are the reigning AFC East champs, and they should still be respected as such until they lose that title. I get that it's much more competitive this year, and Miami looks to be threatening. Heck, even the Jets at times. But the Bills have to play Miami one more time and the New England Patriots one more time. And yeah, it might be tough to beat Miami a second time, but really, the Bills are sitting with an opportunity ahead after beating the Jets. Now, this was a huge, huge win. I understand it might have been the Jets, and they might suck, whatever. But the Bills had to win this week. And they also had to look better, and they had to seem more like the Buffalo Bills. Because I'll tell you what, it seemed like if this Bills team maybe even came out with a win yesterday, but didn't have some sort of rhythm or efficiency kind of factor coming into play, then I think that this team would really have so many alarms going off for the remainder of the season. But I think with the way that they won this game, the way that they played in all three phases of football, that sets it up for a confidence level heading into the rest of these games to finish the season where you feel like you still have a chance of beating any team that you're going to go against. It doesn't matter who you're going up against any given Sunday, right? So the Bills getting this win was huge. I think we saw a lot of good things on our defense. Offensively, we saw things maybe get better. And there's a lot of good things to discuss as far as what I thought looked good coming out of the Bills offense and with Joe Brady's first game as the interim offensive coordinator for the Bills. But I think that there's still some things that they didn't do well enough as well. So I'm going to talk about that as well. And if you guys are just now tuning in, do me a favor, hit that react button, hit the share button. Make sure to follow, like, and subscribe, turn your notifications on so you don't miss any of the live content or any of the content coming from myself, the Sauce Guide, your source for daily entertainment, live here in the Sit Down, a sports entertainment show presented by Dust Vegas Wings and www.buffalosauceguide.com. Feel free to call into the hotline as well, 716-800-1772. And we're going to talk about this later in the show as well. He might make his way onto a segment like he did in the previous show too, So stay tuned for that as well. Jets offense may suck, but they have a good defense, and they still have playmakers on offense. Garrett Wilson was ineffective. Zach Wilson has, even though I don't ever listen to what Tony Romo says, yesterday, if you listen to what he was saying, he said that Zach Wilson has the lowest holding the football time, the lowest amount of seconds per hold. I don't know whatever you want to call the stat, but basically he's holding the ball for a lot less time than he has in previous seasons. I think he's averaging 3 seconds every drop back. I mean, that's good. That's what you want, especially when you're not the type of guy that can extend plays and, create the magic, right? Zach Wilson just doesn't have that in him yet. Zach Wilson can still play decent enough at times, but the Bills' defense got after it. So, hey, credit is due where credit is due. The Jets performed well enough to beat the Bills in Week 1, but they didn't do well enough at all this week. In fact, they only put up 6 points. They got that first touchdown with Breece Hall, which I think Breece Hall just had to score because he seems to just go off against the Bills. And it seemed at that point the Jets' offense was just never going to get it going. I mean, hey, they couldn't. I don't think they converted a single third down the whole game. So really, the Bills, all three phases of football, played really well. And I mean, it started right away with special teams. Reggie Gilliam, your fullback, the guy that they send on back shoulder fades, which I never understand that, but whatever. He goes out there and he makes a tackle. He creates a tackle and creates a hit that forces a fumble. Now, sure, you'd like to get 7 there on that first opportunity, and that would just create all the juice in the world. That here we go, we're back, bada bing. But no, we got 3. And I think some people might have felt like, here we go. But no, the Bills just stayed with it. They stayed resilient. They just kept pushing through and kept fighting through it. You have to fight through it. And that's what I saw from the Buffalo Bills yesterday, and that's one of the best things to kind of build on. So we'll discuss that as well. Leonard Floyd still had 2.5 sacks. By the way, have a year, Leonard Floyd, and he is at 9.5 sacks in the year now. Very much approaching that double-digit sack mark. And, hey, it just tells you what it could be like if Von Miller can get to be his full, healthy self, and if we can have a fully healthy defensive line, especially with the injuries that we do have in the secondary. But, hey, man, there was a real bright star in the secondary for the Buffalo Bills yesterday. That was a real bright spot on the team as well. And it made Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott kind of look like geniuses for this, right? So we'll talk about that later in the show as well. But hit that like and share, hit the comment button, ladies and gentlemen, and also join in the discussion. You can hit that hotline at 716-800-1772. It's right below on the ticker. You're live here with Sauce God in the sit-down, your sports and entertainment show discussing the Buffalo Bills and the New Jersey Jets. So what was different for the Buffalo Bills last night? And I'm curious as to what you guys out there watching think. And if you're watching on Roku, by the way, feel free to join on Facebook, Anthony Bomasudo, or on YouTube at Buffalo Sauce God, or call into the hotline to join the discussion as well. For me, what was different about the Bills was it just seemed like their body language was different. They looked like they wanted to come out and play football for each other. And that's something that I saw from the Buffalo Bills in 2018 and Josh Allen's, really 2017 even, before Josh Allen got there. Even in Josh Allen's rookie year, we go 6-10. In 2019, 2020, 2021, and even last year, you saw a brotherhood existing, and it didn't seem like we've had that very much this year. You see guys getting up and celebrating plays, sure, but it just didn't seem like that family effect was in the play here. And so last night I saw that change. You saw the scuffle going on with Deion Dawkins, but you saw Stephon Diggs at one point getting in a scuffle, willing to get in a scuffle with a Jets defensive lineman. And, hey, that says right there, I'm a dog. I'm willing to fight for my teammates, and that speaks to me. If I'm a teammate on the sideline or on the field, that says to me Stephon Diggs is all about it, and I'm gonna go to war with him. And, by the way, this is good news, too. Taylor Rapp is resting at home. He was carted off with a neck injury during the game, and prayers up for Taylor Rapp, man. Hopefully speedy recovery because that guy's playing lights out football as well. Keep those comments flowing, ladies and gentlemen. I love what I'm seeing here so far. Discussing right now with the Buffalo Bills and what was different for them last night. I think the way that they approached offensively seemed the tempo was a little bit more up pace. And it seemed like at times when something was working, they'll just go right back to it. And I kind of like that, jam it down their throats. And Joe Brady never seemed to be discontent. He looked poised. And even looking at Ken Dorsey when he'd be in the booth, he looked like he literally was just taking notes in class, and you better shut up because he wants to hear the teacher. He doesn't want to miss a single freaking note. But it's like you're missing the whole freaking game, dude. So Joe Brady looked poised. I like that. I think the overall atmosphere was that the Bills were just in control of this game. They didn't need to go and score 7 every single possession. We didn't need to score 49, 56 last night. We just needed to win the game and win it in the fashion that we did. 32-6 is a statement. Defensively, we came to play. We forced the turnovers. We got pressure. And offensively, we only turned the ball over with Josh Allen's 1 interception. That was at the end of the half. Okay, so don't count that as a bad. I'm telling you, if you look at really truly his interceptions this year, it's not that bad. A lot of them are either situations like that or tip passes too. So Josh Allen played efficiently last night. I think it was good to see him running the football. I think it was good to see that there were design runs for him, especially in that 3rd and 5. That quarterback draw, I loved that. That got me juiced right there. And that's exactly what this team has been missing is juice coming from your quarterback. Like I said, Josh Allen in his rookie year was coming in the league not getting any respect because he was an underdeveloped prospect. He was a raw talent, inaccurate. Okay, well, it turns out that was inaccurate. And, Josh Allen got in the locker room with his offensive linemen and would wrestle with them in preseason as a rookie. And that speaks volumes to me. You're going against guys that are 50, 60 pounds bigger than you in wrestling matches just to show them that you're a dog. And that's exactly what we've been missing a little bit from Josh Allen all season. And I saw him Also, not forcing things again, playing smart football, and overall distributing amongst his teammates and letting it didn't seem like Josh Allen was the hero last night. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't feel like Josh Allen won this game. It felt like the Buffalo Bills won this game. And there's a lot of games where you feel like Josh wins it. Stephon Diggs wins it. But the Bills won, I feel like, as a team. And I think they played much better football, as much more sound football, less penalties. Sean McDermott made some better coaching decisions. I think at times we thought, hey, maybe you got to go for it here. But no, you have to take those 3 points sometimes, and you have to just let the defense go and get another stop, because really that's saying I got confidence in my guys on defense. And Sean McDermott's defense has not been a problem all year long. Sure, at times they give up some plays, and they give up some really spectacular freaking plays at times. I feel like some of the best catches in the NFL in the last 2 years have come against the Bills, I feel like. Really since 2020 with the Hail Murray. It feels like, those kind of things happen, sure, but Sean McDermott's defense came to play last night, and they have been. And the team just was in control, and they never seemed to be out of it. So let's see. I got some more comments here as well. Only a Hail Mary yesterday. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, fuck it. You're going for some points. At least you have the balls to fucking do it. And at least he's not a guy that's, afraid of getting an interception on his statistics or another incompletion. Like, he's not one of those people. By the way, yeah, my guy 12 Gauge saying thanks for the update, John. And I want to say, John Robert, thank you very much. Longtime supporter of the Sit Down, back to my Built in Buffalo days. But if you guys are just now tuning in, you're live here in the Sit Down with the Sauce God. This is a sports and entertainment show covering the Buffalo Bills and Jets, and also had still the Monday night matchup of the Eagles and the Chiefs, and also my betting picks as well with the All Take That Action. All my segments still lie ahead, guys, so don't go anywhere. Make sure to get cozy and join here in the comments or call into the hotline. So let's go into the next segment here. And we're going to go into the first one. And this is bada bing, bada boom. And this is going to be discussing, what did the Buffalo Bills do right? Let's play that video.
This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away. You got to get up close like this. Bada bing! Bada bing!
Yes. Let me tell you something. The Buffalo Bills, what they did right yesterday. They came out from the first play, and they came out the aggressor. Reggie Gilliam laid that smack down, and the Bills got 3 points. That set the tone right there. The Bills also realized, I don't know if it's because we've seen the production coming from him as of late, or if Joe Brady knew this all along, but Dalton Kincaid is a freaking game plan right there. You got to surround what you're going to do around that guy, because he's going to catch everything. He'll get you the big catches. He'll get you yards after the catch. The rookie tight end was drafted in the first round, and some people kind of scratched their heads when the Bills made that pick, but it's really looking like it makes sense, and maybe that was a missing piece that we needed on offense. This is a team that got it done offensively yesterday, and Gabe Davis didn't even see a single target. And I know Gabe Davis has struggled as of late and has been inconsistent. I get that. But Gabe Davis has also had some really great games and filled in wonderfully at the wide receiver 2 position dating back to his rookie season in 2020. But still, you saw plays coming from the other guys. You had Khalil Shakir, another big week just out of nowhere, right? With 3 catches, 115 and a tutty. James Cook. You had Ty Johnson score a touchdown. So what did the Bills do right, ladies and gentlemen? What they did right was they distributed to their strengths. They used everything that they had. And they didn't run the tank down empty. They just used the arsenal that they had, and they executed. They knew what they were going to do the whole time. No hesitance, and everybody was on the same page. I mean, at times, even in the weeks that we've struggled offensively, it seems like the offense can't even get out of the huddle sometimes. And it's like, what's all this confusion? But it didn't seem like there was any of that last night. So it seemed like the team was really well prepared. The defense stood tall, man. That right there makes it so much easier when you're only going to score 3 points on a few consecutive drives, when really you want to be scoring 7 because you can. But your defense can come up time in and time out and either get a stop or create a turnover. And I'm talking the Bills' defense can let the opposing offense drive down the field and threaten. Heck, get even in a goal line situation, the Bills can stand tall. That's what I'm saying. The Bills' defense is really your blueprint right there to win. And that's crazy because we don't even have Von Miller at 100%. We don't have Tre'Davious White. We don't have Matt Milano. We don't have Daquan Jones. We are like literally like maybe at 75% full strength on defense, and we're still playing style. I don't care if it was the Jets. We took out their most effective pieces. Garrett Wilson, who's been effective against the Bills in previous games. Breece Hall, I'm sure he got the touchdown, but at the end of the day, the Bills executed. They were the better team, and they were from the start to the very finish, and they never took the foot off the gas. It never seemed like the Bills were going to ever let this game get away from them. So I like that. That's exactly what the Buffalo Bills did right. They did a lot of things right. They didn't necessarily do everything right, though, of course. So we're going to go on to the next segment here. But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now tuning in, you're hearing the Sit Down with the Sauce God, a sports entertainment show, and also covering the Buffalo Bills here with Bills Mafia, super fan, myself, the Sauce God, at Buffalo Sauce God across all social media. This is presented by Duff's Famous Wings and presented by www.buffalosaucegod.com, live Mondays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Facebook, YouTube, and on Roku for the Northeast Streaming Sports Network, and also live on Saturdays at noon with the Sauce God and Shimmy Sports Show. So let's keep it rolling, ladies and gentlemen. We have tons of shows still remaining. And by the way, Shakir's first over 100-yard game. I'll tell you what, man, he's been on the cusp. He's been on the cusp a bunch of times. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. When you have the things that you did right, you still got to think about the things that you did wrong. So let's go into the next segment here, ladies and gents, in Bills Mafia, forget about it, what the Buffalo Bills did wrong.
What's forget about it? If you disagree like a Lincoln is better than a Cadillac, forget about it.
I'll tell you, what did the Bills do wrong? I'm telling you, it's just like it makes you still wonder how much fine-tuning this offense does need, because we didn't score touchdowns when I feel like we definitely had the pace and momentum and the opportunities to do so. At times it seemed like the offensive line struggled a little bit, and that just kind of took Josh Allen's time away a little bit. I think we tried to maybe run Josh Allen a little bit incorrectly, too. He only had 15 yards on 5 carries. A couple of them obviously were really effective yards, too, but still, I think that Josh Allen could be getting out of the pocket differently. There's things that we could still do better. The Buffalo Bills, what they did wrong yesterday, let me tell you, who actually did not seem to perform very well at all yesterday, Stephon Diggs. Drops, and he had a fumble, which wasn't recovered by the defense, but still, that's not like Stephon Diggs. Now, you gave up that touchdown to Breece Hall, but the defense rallied, and they, didn't give up any more points from that point on. But I still think this is a team that it doesn't matter how well they do defensively, your offense is going to have to at least move the ball down the field. Now, the Bills at least didn't seem to have the drives stall out where they have lost the battle of field position, right? But, again, you're getting 3. Fine. You're playing against the Jets, though, where you're not expected to get 20 from them. But when you play against the Kansas City Chiefs or you play against Miami again, should they have their offense clicking this go-around, you're going to have to score more. And that's why you don't want to be in the situations of 4th down where you can't take the points. So, for me, I'd like to see the Bills kind of get more touchdowns in at least early on, and then keep it going with the field goals to pad it on. I mean, you don't want to start yourself off with field goals right away. I think the Bills didn't do too much wrong yesterday, though. And I don't want to say, anything too positive or, too biased, but really I just don't feel like they did a ton of things wrong. Stephon Diggs, that's about it. You know what I mean? That was really my one hiccup. And I think Sean McDermott did a good job coaching this game. And I know he's on the hot seat with the fan base, and including myself. I wonder sometimes if he's hit his ceiling now. But he did his job coaching, and he also did his job with the way that the defense played yesterday as well. So can't say the Bills did a ton wrong yesterday. But let's keep it rolling, ladies and gents. Too many penalties? Well, you could highlight that as well. And sometimes you got to think that – I don't want to talk about officiating because there's plenty of times the officiating is just whack. Okay? But, yeah, you'd like to clean that up. And I don't like the fact that Deion Dawkins got that unsportsmanlike conduct instead of, the guy that threw him afterwards. But you don't want to see you lose your composure. And I love Deion afterwards with the acting and the flop and all that. And then I love that. But you don't want to give any leeway at all to the refs, to the other team. And so that's one thing that I'd like to see the Buffalo Bills kind of clean up too. Come out there with some professionalism and finish the job. Hey, man, but the Bills, they got their plays made. You know, they had some turnovers created, obviously. Their defensive line got tons of pressure. Leonard Floyd had a really solid game. And overall, I saw some good play from the linebackers, too. We're going to talk about that as well upcoming here in the sit-down. We've just ahead, guys, we've got Victory Formation. We've still got the Pain Trains. We've got the Unsung Hero, the Weakest Link, the I'll Take That Action, and the Getting Saucy segment as well. So if you're just now tuned in, hit the react button, hit that comment button as well, and share this stream so that we can get this to all your friends. Because I'll tell you what, the sit-down Sauce God and Shimmy Sports Show is your source for sports entertainment and your source for Buffalo Bills coverage. So let's keep it going. All right. 12 Gauge is backstage. By the way, 12 Gauge, do we have some music playing in the background? I'm not sure if we do or not, but if we do, let's get some music in the background. One of those songs playing. But the Bills face the toughest schedule remaining in the NFL. We're going to predict the Bills' future for the remainder of the season. And I'm curious as to what you guys out there think. How many wins you think the Bills will get out of the remaining games. And then, Gage, I think we got to turn that down a little bit, buddy. I'll turn it down, actually. Okay, perfect. All right, so the Bills face... Actually, hold on. Still loud. There we go. The Bills face the toughest remaining schedule in the NFL, and we all knew coming into the season that this was going to be the gauntlet, per se. That's why it was so critical to get wins in these weeks that we could have had wins. I mean, we wouldn't be talking about missing the playoffs if we had won some of these games that we definitely should have won. But do I think the Bills are out of this by any means because it gets tough? No, I don't. I still think the Bills can compete with any team in football, even with the players that they have and the injuries that are on the team right now. I still think the Bills can match up with any team if they play their best game of football, like, you know, we've seen. Then bada bing. So let's talk about it. Week 12, the Buffalo Bills will face against the Eagles in Philadelphia. And Philadelphia right now is a 3.5-point favorite. That's obviously going to be a tough one. We're going to have to see how the Eagles play against the Chiefs tonight and everything that transpires with that. I think the Bills could easily beat the – I think the Bills could play defensively good enough to where they could win this football game. Jalen Hurts is prone to turnovers. The Bills are playing stout defense. So if their defense comes to play and their offense could just, you know, have a taste of what we need, why can't they win, right? The following week, in Week 13, the Buffalo Bills will have a much-needed bye week. Let me clear my throat, by the way. The Bills will have a much-needed bye week in Week 13. That's a great chance to kind of heal up and game plan and kind of get everything bolstered up to make the run for the rest of the season. And I said that before the season that the possible unsung hero of the year might not even be a player. It might be the fact that the Bills have a bye week in Week 13. Obviously, we've had some injuries that, you know, it's not going to help having the bye week at that point. But regardless, it's still a chance to rest up, get some R&R. So I like that for the Buffalo Bills. That helps. If you could maybe beat, let's say per se, we beat the Eagles. Okay? Now you're sitting at 8-5. You get through Week 13, bada bing, heal up. All right, Week 14, you're coming back with an absolute dogfight at 4:25 against the Chiefs in Kansas City. It seems like we're always in Kansas City, by the way. That's going to be tough, but the Chiefs ain't playing their best football, and right now, it's really, we've played against them. We've seen them, and we have a taste of what the Kansas City Chiefs are like, so we can match up with them. The Eagles is going to be tougher because we've never seen them. This is a much different Eagles team than the last time that we faced them, which I think was 2019. So, there you go. You still have shots at winning these games. Now, let's say the Bills beat the Chiefs. Okay, 9-5. You go on to Week 15. You got the Cowboys at home. Now, I know the Cowboys are wrong, but I still think the Bills match up well here. I do. And I think, especially with all the noise coming from, I know he's not going to be playing. He has a torn ACL and he's done for the year. But Trevon Diggs, all the noise from him with tweets this week, maybe that just puts a little bit of a bad taste in Josh Allen's mouth, Stephon Diggs' mouth. Who knows? Maybe the Bills come out there 10-5. We go to Week 16. Bills will play the Chargers. Chargers ain't playing their best, but nonetheless, you're playing against one of the best quarterbacks in football, Justin Herbert. That's not going to be easy. But if your offense is clicking at that point and you've reduced the hiccups and you have found ways to, not only have to win the game, you can win the game defensively, but you're offensively winning the game too. If they can find a way to get to that point, okay, fine. You steamroll over the Chargers, you're at 11-5. All right, now you're talking. You're definitely probably in the playoff picture at this point. I mean, I know it's going to be tight at the end of the season, but still, you get into Week 17, you play the Patriots at home. There's your chance right there. And who knows? Obviously, we have. I don't know why it skipped over. Whoops. We have. I'm sorry. We have Week 17. We have the Patriots, and Week 18 we have the Miami Dolphins. So really, you have a chance. I don't know, man. If you ask me, and I'm curious as to what you guys think, how many wins we could have out of that, I think that we could beat the Eagles if the Bills' defense lights it up, and offensively we just move. We move. I don't know how well the Eagles will get by us with doing the tush push nonstop. I mean, if the Bills can get them in long situations, you eliminate the best thing the Eagles have, and that's the tush push. It works every time. That's an offense. So if the Bills can eliminate that, all right, fine. With the Chiefs, that's where it's going to get tricky. But again, we've seen the Chiefs. We have knowledge of how to play against them. I don't care. I know the Chiefs are with Pat Mahomes, whatever, Travis Kelce, but they're not playing their best football, and I know they can get it going. But we'll see a little bit tonight with the dogfight of the Chiefs and the Eagles. So it's going to tell us a little bit of what we have to expect in the next two games. Ironic that the game tonight is our next two games. I obviously think that we can beat the Patriots, the Cowboys. It's just all about how do you come in and execute, what's your identity, and I think the Bills established last night what their identity is, and it's not Josh Allen. It's the Buffalo Bills, utilizing every bit of strength that you have. So keep those comments flowing, ladies and gents. You're live here in the sit-down, presented by www.buffalosauceguy.com and presented by Dusty and the Swings right here on Facebook Live, Anthony Bramasudo, and on YouTube Live at Buffalo Sauce God, and also on the ROKUTV Northeast Streaming Sports Network app. If you guys are watching on there, join me on either Facebook or YouTube, or feel free to call into the hotline. The number is below. It's 716-800-1772. Again, 716-800-1772. Make sure to check out all my social medias at Buffalo Sauce God. Turn your notifications on, subscribe, so you don't miss any of the daily entertainment content or any of the Buffalo Bills content or any of the outstanding stuff that I got coming out for you guys. So let's keep this rolling, ladies and gents. We're going to keep this into the next formation, ironically. Victory formation. We're going to talk about what the Bills offense did to win this week. Let's play that video. What the offense did to win this week, simple. Dalton Kincaid is what makes this offense go in the recent weeks, especially even with the times that we have not found any rhythm offensively. Dalton Kincaid has been consistent. Stephon Diggs, as great as he is, he had a bad game, in my opinion. I mean, sure, he had 4 catches, whatever amount of yards, but he had a ton of targets and didn't produce. He's allowed to have a bad game. He's a human being. But the Bills also ran the ball with James Cook effectively, and he didn't just run fast or elusively. He ran with some force and ran downhill. I think the Bills also spreading into Khalil Shakir with the huge 81-yard catch. That's big-time stuff. Ty Johnson getting you a touchdown. I think also, guys seem to be moving a heck of a lot more. I've talked about it time in and time out in the last couple of times I've gone live now. The Bills had a lot of pre-snap movement. Stephon Diggs was in motion, and even though he wasn't a factor in the game, he was moving. Josh Allen was moving. He just, again, not stagnant. None of this lackadaisical stuff. None of this poor body language stuff. The Bills looked like they had some mojo. Looked like they had some fire. Looked like they had some sort of clue as to how to actually play. And I see a comment from my guy real fast. John Roberts saying Ty Johnson had a nice touchdown. Exactly. The Bills saw that you don't just need Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. You need whatever you have working for you and whatever is in the right play at the right time. Now, Josh also didn't make poor decisions. I thought that, sure, maybe he held on the ball a little too long, but no, he also threw passes away when he had to. And they didn't give him any intentional grounding calls this time, obviously, so that kind of benefits us. But Josh played efficiently, and he's been playing efficiently even in our struggles offensively. Sure, he hasn't maybe played at his best, but he's still playing at, an elite quarterback level. So that's also something that I thought that was really effective for us as well. And, hey, like I said, you didn't even target Gabe Davis once. Stephon Diggs was really a non-factor for us, but you got James Cook going. You had Khalil Shakir going, Dalton Kincaid going, and obviously you had Ty Johnson come in and contribute too. I mean, I didn't even know the guy was going to be playing. I know he's on the practice squad, but I wonder when Leonard Fournette's going to come up to play for the Buffalo Bills soon. Because I'm telling you what, I'm looking forward to watching him as well. Glad Joe used Ty to help Cook and Murray out. Exactly. Take the workload off. Joe Brady let people help one another, playing as teammates. Josh Allen can be Superman. But if you could take the workload off and James Cook could just be, as consistent as he was, I still think they could even target him more in the passing game. I think that Josh kind of took, his checkdowns really well with him too. And he kind of took what the defense gave him at times. And at times, he wasn't afraid to, to dish it. In fact, there was the one that could have possibly been caught by Quentin Morris. That was a dime. And at first, I remember goes, it was almost intercepted. No, it wasn't. It should have been caught for a touchdown. That's how beautiful the throw it was. And I know Mike Shimbersky's going to want to talk about that on the next show of the Sauce God and Shimmy Sports Show. Overall, though, the Bills offense got it done. They moved the ball down the field, got points. Whether it's getting 6, whether it's getting 3, whether it's getting 7 or 8, doesn't matter. You got to get points. And the Bills got points. The defense backed them up. And that's the blueprint. That's the formula. Championship football. So when I say, hey, the Bills offense got it done, they moved down the field, well, I'm talking about the defense backed them up. Well, let's talk about what the defense did to win this week with pain trains. Let's play that video. It's 3rd down. I'll tell you what, the Buffalo Bills defense got turnovers, man. And, the pressure they created is a big part of that. It really never seemed like Zach Wilson was comfortable throwing the ball. He was kind of just, huck it, chuck it type football. And that's not a formula for winning, especially against a great defense like the Bills. But how about Rasul Douglas? Let's just go ahead and dedicate this whole pain train segment to the guy that we traded for at the trade deadline. Everybody kind of said, oh, here we go. Bills make a half-ass move because we didn't get Pat Surtain from the Denver Broncos. And don't get me wrong, I'd love to have Pat Surtain, but not at the risk of our future, which I've seen come to bite the Bills in the ass. Sammy Watkins, Doug Whaley, anybody remember? We thought maybe Jalen Johnson from the Bears, but no, we got Rasul Douglas for, I think, a 3rd-round pick. We also got a 5th-round pick back. And he comes out and has 3 takeaways yesterday. 2 interceptions, and he had 1 fumble recovery. Rasul Douglas was everywhere. But check this out. You think that's great. Oh, he had 3 takeaways. Wonderful. That's elite. He also had 3 pass deflections. Come on. The dude was an absolute menace yesterday on defense. And, I mean, the defensive line got after it so much that it created opportunities for him to make plays. And, hey, the defense had 6 sacks. Those 6 sacks right there created that havoc, though. So Rasul Douglas, as great of a game as he played, the defensive line and the defensive ends got after it. Leonard Floyd, obviously, 2.5 sacks. You're just seeing that is what can make the job much easier for a defensive back. And if you ask me, you ask anybody that really knows football, what is the hardest position to play in football? It's not quarterback. It ain't receiver. It's defensive back. You can't touch nobody. You literally don't know where the guy's running. You got to just try to stay with him. You're going against guys that are bigger than you. But yet, here you are, right? But Rasul Douglas was able to make those plays because the defensive line got so much pressure. And whether they got the sack or not, the knockdowns, the incomplete passes that resulted, it just took Zach Wilson out of the game. And it literally took him out of the game. And that's what I'm saying right here. The defense can just do it. The defense is elite, and the defense has been elite with Sean McDermott at the helm, which makes you wonder when people ask you, should he still be the head coach? Look at the way the defense is playing. Maybe there's been a scapegoat from here and there. I don't know. But the defense stood tall yesterday. When the Bills offense got 3 points, I think at first I kind of sat there with a little bit of a pit in my stomach wondering, Is it going to really be a little like, this whole field goal shit? No. The defense kept standing tall, creating opportunities for the offense to still go get even another 3 points. Okay, and then eventually scoring touchdowns. The offense was able to finally click more effectively because their defense continued to stand tall. They only gave up 6 points, guys. All the takeaways they had, they really, really showed exactly how tough it is for me as a Bills fan and a fan of football in general, how disappointing it is that we will never see this defense at full strength this year with Matt Milano and Von Miller and Tre'Davious White. We won't ever see that, and that's unfair to us, right? But whatever, you got to go out there with what you got. Rasul Douglas is a wonderful addition. Taron Johnson, I think, was hobbled at some point during the game, too, so you hope that he's all right. Benford playing decent football as well. Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer still getting it done in the safety position. Our linebackers are getting it done, too. So, hey, next man up. Defense is getting it done. They held a weak Jets offense to 6 points, and they dominated defensively. They didn't give up a single first down on third down. That's crazy. All right, guys, if you're now just tuning in, though, do me a favor, hit that react button, hit the share button, join here in the comments. And if you're watching on Roku, join on Facebook at Anthony Bomasudo or on YouTube at Buffalo Sauce God, or feel free to call into the hotline at 716-800-1772. This is the Sit Down with the Sauce God, your host for daily entertainment, sports entertainment, and Buffalo Bills coverage. And the defense was stopping the run. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The defense has to stop something. And what is the Jets' most effective thing on offense? In my opinion, it's Breece Hall and the way that he runs the football, he catches the football out of the backfield. Garrett Wilson's their best player on offense, but they don't have a quarterback that can get him the ball. They don't have that kind of offense to get it done like that, right? So let's keep it rolling now into the next segment here, guys. And we're going to talk about the weakest link and what was the weakest link of the Bills-Jets game. Let's play that video. All right, I mean, listen, I'm not clowning on him because being a rival to the Jets, I hate Mac Jones. We all know that, right? So, this ain't even the same type of energy, but the weakest link was Zach Wilson. He couldn't get the ball up fast enough, and it makes you wonder, was it the Jets' offensive line? No, Zach Wilson, man. He just, even if he is so heavily blitzed and so heavily pressured, if he's an above-average quarterback, he's still going to find ways to move the ball more effectively. I mean, look at Russell Wilson last night. He was under duress the whole game. But, he, in my opinion, even with his poor season last year and his poor play until recently this year, Russell Wilson's still an above-average quarterback. He's a Super Bowl champ. At times, an MVP. At times, was an MVP candidate, right? But Zach Wilson was never going to get it done for the Jets. It didn't matter what Breece Hall could do with his one measly touchdown. Garrett Wilson was not getting the football because why? Zach Wilson couldn't get it to him. They actually went to their backup quarterback, really mostly because it was too late at that point, but really because you got to kind of just, make a small change. But really, man, that's not good because you make that change during the game. Now you're throwing Zach Wilson's confidence off again. You're throwing off his status in the locker room again. And if you guys remember last year, it seemed like Zach Wilson had no sense of command in the locker room, and Mike White had all the support of his teammates. And it seems like people have been disappointed with Robert Saleh, from the Jets organization for not benching Wilson at this point. But what more can you do? You drafted this guy so high overall, and he still has raw potential. And he's played a couple good games this year. Heck, he did good enough against the Bills in Week 1. But no, Zach Wilson was not good enough at all to even keep the Jets in this football game. And there it is. There you have it. You know what I mean? So, ladies and gents, that was the weakest link of the Buffalo Bills and Jets game. And if you're just now tuning in, you're live here in the Sit Down with Sauce God. We're going to talk more about the Bills game here just ahead, and also we're going to go into the Monday night matchup of the Eagles and Chiefs. So don't go anywhere, guys. We got tons more show here in the Sit Down, which is live on Mondays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and on the Roku TV app of the Northeast Streaming Sports Network. So let's go to the next segment here of who was the under-the-radar performer of the week for offense and defense. The unsung hero. Let's go ahead. Let's play that video. So the unsung hero of the week, it's easy. I mean, this is exactly what I called on the last show on Saturday with Mike. Khalil Shakir comes out of the blue, 3 catches, 115 and a touchdown. That's not a heavy workload, but the yards that he got with the 81-yard touchdown catch proved to be exactly what you need right there. It doesn't matter if your offense hasn't been working all night. A guy breaks open a catch like that and then all of a sudden runs for all the yards that he gets after the catch, turns it into an 81-yard touchdown out of the blue. It's like, whoa, the Bills just scored? There you go. You don't have to play perfect football. You don't have to play superstar football on offense. You just have to have some plays happen like that. And that's why you have to have an unsung hero. And that's why Khalil Shakir was last night's unsung hero on offense. And that was my prediction in the Sauce God and Shimmy Sports Show. By the way, real fast, this comment. Matt Milano's been giving Terrell Bernard pointers still, and that's exactly what I'm saying. I love to hear that. That's teammates, leadership. That's family right there. But for the defense, it's simple. It's Rasul Douglas. I mean, really, he was the top performer of the game, but it was a guy that was under the radar to make the big difference in this week's game. But that was also called on the show as well. I think it was called actually by John Robert, and I think maybe Mike Shimbersky actually kind of tallied off that a little bit. But Rasul Douglas came in. He had the 2 interceptions, he had the fumble recovery, and he had 3 pass deflections, and he was everywhere. And wow, what an addition to the Buffalo Bills at the trade deadline. And if he can continue to play that way with the way that we played defensively last night, this team is definitely going to find a way to make an absolute run and keep the pace and try to find their way into the playoffs and make a run for a Lombardi Trophy still. So that's going to do it for the unsung hero of the week, and that's also going to do it for our coverage on the Bills and Jets game, but we still have to discuss the Chiefs and the Eagles matchup and also the I'll Take That Action segment and getting saucy before we get out of here. So don't go anywhere yet, and if you're just now tuned in, hit the react button, hit the share button, join in the comments. Feel free to call into the hotline still at 716-800-1772. If you haven't done so too, make sure to follow, like, and subscribe. Turn your notifications on for me so you don't miss any of the content from myself, the Sauce God, your source for daily entertainment, or the live shows that I've got in the Sit Down and the Sauce God and Shimbersky Sports Show, your source for sports entertainment and Buffalo Bills coverage. So let's go on to the next segment here. We're going to talk about the Buffalo Bills. The Chiefs host the Eagles in a Super Bowl rematch for Monday Night Football. Now, this is a game that I think a lot of people, even if you're not a fan of either of these two teams, you're looking at, wow, this is a matchup. You see a Super Bowl rematch, and the way that the Eagles are playing, they're playing some really great football. The Chiefs are still playing good enough to be one of the top teams in the AFC, but maybe a hint of how good we're accustomed to seeing them truly be. So coming to this game, the Eagles are actually underdogs, and that was kind of surprising to me. And we'll take a look at the over and under and all that stuff as well. But I'm curious as to what you guys think. Who do you think is going to come out on top in this game? Final score predictions as well. Feel free to toss that in the comments. But the Eagles and Chiefs is a big matchup for us in Bills Mafia to be watching because these are our next 2 opponents. And you want to see exactly how can we take away their best options. And really, obviously, we know Kansas City's best option is Travis Kelce. But Isaiah Pacheco can get it going. So you have to find ways to still contain. But this is going to give us a chance at Bills Mafia to see exactly what way that we maybe need to approach this game upcoming against the Eagles and approach the game upcoming against the Chiefs. And the Chiefs and Eagles are both pretty good defensive teams right now. The Chiefs are playing really good defense this year, but the Eagles have a really, really great defense, the way that they have set up with their pass rush and their secondary as well. And I'll tell you what, the Eagles are just, in my opinion, the most complete team in football. So coming in as underdogs tonight is a little surprising. It makes you wonder if there's a possible injury report out there for that. In fact, I'm actually going to go ahead and see if I can pull that up real fast for us too. We are in week 11, ladies and gents. So far, it's been a great show, though, guys. I love the vibes here on Monday morning, and hey, it's always a good feeling when it's Victory Monday, and we get a chance to discuss the Bills' victory, versus the way that we've lost in previous weeks. So here we go. The injury report at the moment. For the Philadelphia Eagles, Derek Barnett, defensive end, is out. Justin Evans on the injured reserve still. Dallas Goedert is out. The tight end, Nakobe Dean, is still on the injured reserve as well. And for the Chiefs, Richie James, wide receiver, is questionable. So for the most part, you got most of your guys ready to go. I really wonder, why is it that the Chiefs are favored? I mean, really coming off of the Chiefs beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl, you'd think that beating them twice in a row might be a little tricky, especially with going against the team that just lost you in the Super Bowl. Might create a bad taste in their mouth. So, hey, there might be some good options to possibly take on the I'll Take That Action segment, which is going to come up here in just a second, guys. But if you are just now tuned in, we still have more show ahead. Hit the like and share. And also a quick update from our guy, John Robert. FYI, Dane Jackson and Taron Johnson have concussions, man. Hopefully they can heal up and get better. And, man, you hate to see that, especially with the Bills already wearing thin as enough as is. So let's go into this next segment of I'll Take That Action. Let's play that video, and let's go and get some betting picks and props. Yeah, hey, guys, life is too short to bet the under. I don't care if it's 59. I don't care if it's 67. You got to ride the fucking over.
This is fucking ridiculous. We need a fucking touchdown. The stakes are high for these ones, boys.
Over-unders, give me points.
Man.
Over-unders, spreads, props, you know, we got it all right here in the sit down. And of course, I do not encourage or endorse any illegal or underage gambling of any sort. Bet and play at your own risk where it is legal to do so. And if you have a gambling problem, there is help available to you. There's a hotline that you can call. So right away, let's talk about the opening numbers. It opened up as 3.5 for the Chiefs. They were favored 3.5 opening. The line is currently at 2.5. As far as the total, it opened at 50.5. Wow, this is a huge drop. It opened at 50.5, and it's currently sitting at 45.5. That's a big drop. Okay, that's a gigantic drop. And what I'm seeing from most sports books is that they're staying consistent with the 45.5. Some have it as high as 46.5. Some have it as high as no, that was actually previous days. My bad. The money line, though, here we have the Eagles at a plus 156 underdog, and actually, I'm sorry, that moved from 156 to 126. So that just says that people are going with the Eagles to win this game. The Chiefs dropped from a minus 186 money line favorite to minus 148. So right away, I'm telling you, it's hard for me to take the Chiefs here. You know, all right, this is the way that I look at it. If they're saying 2.5, let's say the Chiefs win by 3, right? Because what if it's a tie game and it comes down to Pat Mahomes has to get a drive at the end of the game and they kick a field goal? Then it's like, oh, okay, well, all that staying close, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It's like that 2.5 gets fucking tricky. But I do think the Eagles are the better team. But you're playing in Kansas City, okay? But really, you know, I don't know. I got to stay. I'm going to take the I'm curious. Gage, put it in the comments, too, what you think, because I'm curious as to what my guy 12 Gage has for his opinion on this as well. I want to take the Eagles plus 2.5, and I want to take the over, but, like, I don't know, guys. Remember, scared money don't make money. You want to make some picks, you got to fucking be willing to just, hey, you got to be willing to lose it. Let's take another comment real fast. Eagles offense needs to play well, but they can win? Yeah, I definitely think so. They definitely can. As far as, let's see, I can give you guys some player props real fast, too. I like Jalen Hurts to get over 233.5 passing yards in this game. I think receiving yards, I like A.J. Brown. Nah. I like Travis Kelce under 76.5 because you got to have some lows once in a while for receiving yards. And I think I like Jerick McKinnon over 11.5 receiving yards for the Kansas City Chiefs. So those are a couple prop picks that I got. As far as game lines, though, man, I think you could go either way with this one. If they drop that low, I like the over in Eagles to win. I like the Eagles to win this game. You know, Vegas could be trying to trick people per se. That's another thing. And I definitely like the over in this game. I like over 45.5 all day. That might be a lock pick for me. I like that pick a lot. So hey, there's some free picks right there for you guys, courtesy of myself and my guy 12 Gauge, the producer of the show, backstage. And I want to thank that guy real fast. I want to thank everybody for your likes and shares. I want to thank everybody for your comments. And also everybody for your new follows and all that and much more right here in the Sit Down with the Sauce God, your source for daily entertainment and sports entertainment and Buffalo Bills coverage. Let's go into our last segment here of Getting Saucy, presented by Duff's Famous Wings, right here in the Sit Down to conclude this week's show. Let's go ahead and play that video.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Ice cold, nice, refreshing Labatt Blue on a fierce storm behind J817.
It's a cold front, is what that is.
I'm fired up this week, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to get you fired up. Bills Mafia, you want to hear me getting saucy this week? It's simple. Mac Jones and the New England Patriots, and also, too, the Miami Dolphins, and anybody that's got anything bad to say. Bills by a billion, baby. Let's go. Let's go, Bills.
Hey, this is for anybody that talks shit about the Bills. You know, they can't, they're not going to win this game. Yada, yada. Oh, week one, they lost to the Jets. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Any given Sunday, 1 week at a fucking time. And all that matters is this week. And what matters is the final score on the scoreboard, which the Buffalo Bills prevailed in that fucking regard. 32-6 victory over divisional opponent, the New Jersey Jets. Because you know what? We're the only team in New York. We're the only team that plays in New York. Everybody should just fucking know that as a fact by now, right? But the Buffalo Bills showed up yesterday. They got things clicking. Joe Brady stood tall. He got everybody feeling saucy out there. Josh Allen was running the football, dishing dimes to Khalil Shakir, dishing dimes out to Kincaid and getting them boys saucy. James Cook was hashtag let James cooking, right? Hashtag let James cook. He was getting saucy, but we were getting let's kinky with Dalton Kincaid yesterday as well, man. I'll tell you, but the defense and Rasul Douglas were the sauciest the most. Leonard Floyd was absolutely drenched in sauce because of the way that he wreaked havoc on Zach Wilson and that Jets offense that was non-existent. The Buffalo Bills got themselves back into the win column again at 7-5 now and at 2-2 in the division and 1-1 versus the Jets, splitting the series with the Jets this year. Still 2 divisional games to go, but a chance now to write their own way and write their own destiny for how the rest of the season is going to go. And I still got confidence because you know what, ladies and gents, nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. So that's going to conclude me getting saucy this week, ladies and gents. And also remember to tune in with me on Mondays and Thursdays here in the Sit Down, presented by www.buffalosaucegod.com and presented by Duff's Famous Wings, the best damn chicken wings. Live on Facebook Live at Anthony Bomasudo. Live on YouTube at Buffalo Sauce God, where you can get all my social medias at Buffalo Sauce God. And also, too, on the Northeast Streaming Sports Productions app on the ROKUTV. You can watch me live Mondays and Thursdays at, again, 11 a.m. Eastern. And check me out with Mike Shimbersky, my co-host, in the Sauce God and Shimmy Sports Show, Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern to discuss what's going to come up for the Buffalo Bills. Tell you what, man, Sauce God is your source for daily entertainment, sports entertainment, and all your Buffalo Bills coverage. So make sure you're already following, subscribe, like, whatever it may be, and turn your notifications on so you can stay tuned with all the upcoming content and all of the live updates coming from myself, the Sauce God. Hey, man, what a great show. Let's go ahead. Let's get some outro music here, and let's cue it up, baby. Let's get this sauciness going here. And tell you what, man, Victory Monday. Victory Monday. Victory Monday, baby. Yep. As always, guys, appreciate everybody for your likes, shares, your comments. And I want to thank everybody for watching. And if you haven't already done so, check out that Northeast Streaming Sports Network on the Roku app for my shows as well as all the other content that they got. And make sure to stay tuned with myself, the Sauce God, baby. And as always, God bless, bolster up, stand tall, Bills by a billion, and let's fucking go Bills. Bills all day. Let's go.